Welcome to Arlington Public News. I'm Jackie Bonnet.
And I'm James Milan. Thanks for joining us today. In this edition of APN, 4 designs, 1 new high school. The latest community forum asks residents to help narrow the choices. Taking stock of Arlington Heights business and housing needs.
And Arlington remembers those who served. A look at Memorial Day services in town. That and more up next. Stay with us.
The Arlington High School Building Committee hosted its 5th community forum at Town Hall recently. Previous forums sought community input about the strengths and weaknesses of the current high school, presented an educational plan for the future, and most recently shared 8 potential design options for the new facility. The 8 original designs have been narrowed down to 4 and now must be narrowed down to 1 preferred design that will be submitted to the Massachusetts School Building Authority later this summer. This was also an opportunity to share draft cost estimates and comparisons with the public.
The forum began with Arlington High School Building Committee Chairman Jeff Thielman presenting preliminary cost estimates for the 4 proposed school designs.
At this time, the cost estimates for the 4 options we are going to discuss this evening are between $287 and $298 million, and the numbers are based on square footage and soft cost estimates. We are following, or we are similar to some of the other projects that are taking place across the state.
The focus of the forum was architect Lori Coles's presentation of preliminary building designs and timelines for the 4 building design options.
We are looking at 4 alternatives. 2 of them are renovation addition, 2 of them are all new.
All proposed building options are a similar size and price, and all attempt to consolidate science, technology, art, and math classrooms in one area of the building to allow for convenient access to shared makerspaces and to encourage collaboration.
So the first alternative is one of the renovation addition alternatives, and so we've decided we're keeping Fusco, which is your oldest school building, which is to the left when you face the building from Mass Ave, and Column House, which is really just in reality, we're really talking about that central portion that's under the pitched roof.
The timelines for the construction of each building design were presented in terms of building phases. During a phase, a new portion of the building design is constructed, and at the conclusion of a phase, that new portion of the building is ready to be used. Each design had both a projected initial occupancy date and a projected final occupancy date. The initial occupancy date reflects the date at which the first phase of construction will be concluded and some new facilities will be available for use. The final occupancy date represents the date at which the construction of the entire facility is complete.
One of the really simple reasons of why this is longer than the others is because, in fact, we are building right in the existing footprint. So it just takes more steps. 2 is also retaining Fusco and Column House, just a little different. They're sort of, in this case, it's being tucked in between new construction. It might be behind glass. We still have the front green, just a smaller portion of it, and it can be reprogrammed as needed. Initial occupancy, so in this case, you will have all of your core academic spaces, including the sciences and the maker spaces and the art classrooms by January 2022. The third alternative is essentially all new. So one of the things that I think becomes a little bit of a plus about this is how tight it is in terms of where the students need to spend their day. Initial occupancy of phase 1 in January 2022. Our 4th option is all new construction. It is constructed entirely in front of the existing school. It's 6 stories tall. Both initial and full occupancy are the same time, and that is September 2023.
Will all the high school students actually be able to be on site, or will they have to be put somewhere else in town or even out of town? Which I've heard.
So I'm just going to say it. There's a lot of talk about trying to use Minuteman, their existing building. So it's, we don't have any definitive movement on that.
The next public meeting of the building committee will be Tuesday, June 19th at 6 p.m. in the school committee room in the high school. There will be subsequent meetings on June 26th and June 28th. The committee hopes to have selected which design they will be presenting to the state by the June 28th meeting.
To watch the entire forum, visit acmi.tv or check your local cable listings. You can share your thoughts on the 4 proposed designs by visiting ahsbuilding.org and filling out the online feedback form.
Arlington Heights is the latest area in town to be considered for redevelopment. Town planners are looking into changing the types of retailers and housing allowed in order to spur growth. It was a couple of years ago that some Heights business owners and residents started voicing concerns. Now, there is an action plan, and as APN's Brenda Mahoney tells us, it takes the community's input to heart.
Getting a chance to play developer.
We're just looking at the different, kind of commercial zones here and talking about what are opportunities for redevelopment.
Eric Bourassa is about one of 100 people generating and sharing ideas on redeveloping Arlington Heights. The goal of the Arlington Department of Planning and Community Development's May 23rd forum at Dowling Elementary School to build on the town's commitment to increased housing options while encouraging business growth.
Brews and Brews, somewhere that might serve coffee in the morning, a pub in the evening.
With a $30,000 grant from the Metropolitan Area Planning Council, the town is taking an inventory of businesses and housing, transportation and parking issues, and looking at arts and culture. The review area runs from the Lexington border up to Myrack Chevrolet. Of major interest, looking at building on the mixed-use retail housing model.
If the right conditions are set, we feel you could get anywhere from 7 to 8 restaurants, 2 to 18 clothing stores, and then this 2 to 7 miscellaneous other stores.
Unlike East Arlington in the center, Massachusetts Avenue runs narrower in the Heights, leading to more of a village feel. Something Allie Carter of the Planning Department says no one is looking to change.
It's a streetcar suburb. That's the vibe there, and I don't think we want to lose that.
The idea to revitalize the Heights came about from a grassroots campaign a couple of years ago. And in that time, it's lost what used to be Brigham's ice cream, restaurants, sub shops, and now the 5 and 10.
We're also going to have some meetings with property owners where we talk to them about business build-out analyses on their own parcels.
Reasons for the business closures vary, and the town's control over private business is limited. But there are areas where the town can have impact. They can create incentives for development in exchange for public benefits. Olga and Richard Bolt have benefited from an active Heights for 38 years and want it to remain the heart of the area for years to come.
We hope it continues to be an attractive place to live.
It's sad to see things go, but we can take this as an opportunity to see what's next. What would we like to see for the next phase, for the future of Arlington Heights?
Brenda Mahoney, Arlington Public News.
The Department of Planning and Community Development expects to hold another meeting on the Heights Action Plan soon. Check out arlingtonma.gov for more information on the project.
Finding reasonably priced housing is a challenge throughout Arlington. It's a concern the Heights Neighborhood Action Plan will need to address. Today, 9 new units of affordable housing in Downing Square are a big step closer to welcoming their first residents. The Housing Corporation of Arlington bought the United Methodist Church building on Westminster Street in 2014. With construction funding from the Community Preservation Act and private lenders in place, renovations are set to begin. The 9 units will include 1 3-bedroom unit, 2 2-bedroom units, 5 1-bedroom units, and a studio. 3 of the units will be wheelchair accessible with direct access to the outside. Local officials and community members acknowledged the need for more affordable housing and the contribution these new units will make to the town at a groundbreaking ceremony.
Everybody knows the incredible strain on housing costs and strain on families for finding affordable housing. And one of the great things that makes Arlington so wonderful is the diversity of socioeconomic households. And if we lose that, we lose an enormous part of our community.
Yes.
And we have to really teach people that is so important to our health and our well-being.
When the voters in this town passed the CPA a number of years ago, I think this was exactly the type of project that they were envisioning. Historic reuse and being able to take care of those who are vulnerable in terms of housing. I'll also say that we've been proud to endorse the CPA plans year after year. Our board has also been proud to support the HCA, this project, and other projects of the corporation.
I have been impressed, in my experience, being part of the committee and leading the committee, about the committee's dedication to the affordable housing part of this, especially. There is a deep and abiding passion, I think inspired by Pam's work, for that, and we have seen that straight through to town meeting, where the support for the affordable housing projects that CPA has funded has been nothing short of enthusiastic. And I think that's a reflection on the values of the people of this town and of the commitment that the funders and the board and to this. So we are delighted to support this and look forward to continuing to do so in the years to come.
This is not the only affordable housing project the HCA has underway in Arlington Heights. Across the street, the HCA owns a 1-acre parcel running along the bike path. The site is slated to be developed into 34 affordable units in 2 separate buildings. That project is currently awaiting final funding. You know, I can tell you that as a young person, you must be aware of the need for affordable housing yourself in this area.
Yes, definitely. Being a student here at Boston, it has been quite hard, but day by day.
So we are hoping that these units are just the front edge of what is going to be more affordable housing here in Arlington. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Yes, indeed. Musicians are tuning up and hosts are sweeping up. Meet some of your neighbors gearing up for Porch Fest.
And the Mystic Lakes welcome home thousands of herring. That and more when we come back.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund Reading.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Information on hot water heating.
No. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out the words.
World music, playing track now.
No.
Let me try. Our daughter gets confused about which details in a story are important.
Which paper towels are most absorbent? What? Here are 5 product reviews.
Why are you not getting me?
See, I told you.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Memorial Day ceremonies drew a large crowd to Arlington Town Hall. With a nod to those we've lost and those who have served during America's wars, speakers also took time to thank the community for taking part, even calling one young boy up on stage. Here's a look.
Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave?
We have gathered here to remember those who have died in wars and conflicts as they served in our military. We have come to mourn the loss of their lives, each and every one too early.
The stories of our bravest men who never came home, remember, who never finished high school and gave everything to this country, there's no one left to tell their stories. And that is why this day is more important than ever before.
Would all Vietnam veterans in attendance today please stand? On behalf of a nation you proudly served, I would like to say thank you for your service and welcome home.
I really appreciate that you youngsters, I sound like an old man now, that you young ladies and gentlemen are here with us today. And I need one of these kids to be a helper. Somebody want to help me with something? Come on. How are you? What's your name? John, you want to sit in my chair for a minute? This is the reason freedom's important to us, is this generation here. I want us to also have fun today, because that is what our veterans have fought for, and that is for us to exercise the freedoms that they have protected. That is how we honor them. So I wanted to have a smile today. I wanted to see some of these these young men and women that are with us today. And I want us, after pausing this morning to reflect on everything that we've been given through valorous sacrifice, I want us to go out, I want us to smile, I want us to hug each other and have a great day, because that is why our freedom was secured for us, is so that we can live the lives that we would like to lead.
Porches are being swept, instruments are being tuned, and fingers are crossed for good weather leading up to the 3rd annual Porch Fest, sponsored by the Arlington Center for the Arts. APN reporter Zach DuPont introduces us to some Porch Fest enthusiasts as they get ready for the big event.
Porch Fest is just a great community event.
It's a great community event.
Take it from these Porch Fest veterans, they've been part of the event since it began 3 years ago.
The thing about Porch Fest is it draws people together. It's the music that brings people together and creates community. And so when you sort of have the community spirit behind the music, it makes for a fantastic event. It's really fun. We had just people coming by the dozens, riding up on bicycles, wandering into the yard, introducing themselves. Neighbors started making connections with other neighbors. Oh, I live on Herbert, I live on Varnum. There was a lot of that. Oh, you're my neighbor, but there wasn't really a reason to connect before. And so this really gave people a reason to just relax, enjoy themselves, and make a nice connection.
One of the things I think about Porch Fest that's terrific is because there are so many different venues, you can wander around and spend your day and see maybe 10 different bands if you want, or you can come and bring your chairs. People are certainly welcome to do that here, and sit and relax, have some food, meet some neighbors, tap your feet, dance, and just enjoy the music all day long.
Arlington, Arlington, prettiest town under the sun. People here are lots of...
And musicians appreciate having local hosts and a local audience. Michael Bonito and Mike Gildesgame have been playing together for the last 25 years, but Porch Fest gave them and their group, the Hills Pond Jug Band, a reason to come together and play more often.
We didn't play consistently until Porch Fest started 3 years ago, and all of a sudden we had this kind of big event that we could practice for.
Yeah, that was fun because, as Mike says, we didn't regularly play a lot together, but we played enough together to sort of figure out each other's styles. And when the Porch Fest came around, we made sure we included a couple of other folks, and it all seems to work out.
But for this duo, the biggest Porch Fest draw is the opportunity to get out into the community.
It's a good feeling to play in Arlington. We've lived in Arlington for 35 years, and so we know some people, but the truth is there are a lot of people that show up either from other towns or other part of towns, so there are not that many people that we know who are in the audience unless my wife has recruited them. So that often happens as well.
I've met a lot of people in Arlington that I didn't know before. So it's been community building, just participating.
Michael does double duty, suiting up and promoting Porch Fest along Massachusetts Avenue during the morning commute.
The place we were in Mexico had all these puppets, these giant parade puppets, that were in the town square every day. It was a tourist attraction, but also as part of religious ceremonies. Every single weekend there were weddings where there was a bride and groom that were 12 feet tall dancing around. And that inspired me. I'm a part-time sculptor. So I created this huge monstrosity that lives in our basement in dismembered pieces. And it just seemed like a logical use of Uncle Sam to be at Porch Fest.
I think we're going to have a big sign that says, come on in. So everyone's welcome.
For Arlington Public News, I'm Zach DuPont.
Start your musical exploration at Porch Fest HQ in Whittemore Park at the corner of Mass Ave and Medford Street. You'll find maps and information, live music, and a free puppet-making workshop with Arlington Public Art. For more information on Porch Fest, visit arlingtonporchfest.org.
Alewife Station, Alewife Brook. The name Alewife pops up all over Arlington. But did you know that an alewife is a fish? Right now, thousands of them are making their annual migration from the ocean waters around Boston up the Mystic River and into the Mystic Lakes. The Mystic Watershed Association has been supporting their run for years, and increased numbers mean their work is paying off.
So in both 2015 and 2016, there were nearly 500,000 river herring that passed into the upper Mystic Lake, which represents one of the top herring migrations in the state.
If you go around coastal Massachusetts, it's mostly small brooks into ponds, and so that's why we're largely dominated with alewife, and everybody talks about alewife, and the blueback kind of get second. Here on the Mystic, there was a restoration project about 6 or 7 years ago where the old dam here was taken down. There was no fish ladder on that dam.
In the 2000s, we had volunteers associated with the Medford Boat Club as well as the Watershed Association and just the community at large that helped out at what was known as the Bucket Brigade. And this was typically a Saturday in May where volunteers came to the Mystic Lakes Dam and filled nets and buckets with river herring and literally hoisted them up and over the dam to seed the upper Mystic Lake with these herring.
It was replaced by DCR with this new dam. They built a state-of-the-art fishway, 4-foot denial fishway. They built an eel ramp, and we're seeing the run just increase year after year. So 2012 was the first year they got up here. 2015, we started seeing fish return, and the numbers just keep going up every year.
And so in 2012, in partnership with the state, the Division of Marine Fisheries, as well as the Department of Conservation and Recreation, we were able to launch a new program called the Herring Monitoring Program. This program uses volunteers, approximately 80 to 100 volunteers, to track the herring migration as a citizen science project. And so each volunteer is assigned a 1-hour block of time each week to come and count for 10 minutes at a time. That data is then shared with the Division of Marine Fisheries, and it's an amazing wildlife migration that's going on in people's backyards. And so we wanted to really bring this to many, many more people. And so to expand upon that, we use technology as the obvious next step. And we installed an underwater video camera here at the Mystic Lakes Dam. The camera is motion censored though. So when a fish passes, it triggers it, and it'll go for 4 seconds after the motion is detected too. So the video clips are usually no more than a minute. A lot of times they're more like 20 seconds long, and you can see, 1-2 fish, or you might see like 90 in 1 minute. It's really pretty impressive. So we're essentially streaming the migration into many more households, and we're also working directly with schools to help the teachers implement curriculum that's related to the herring migration and the Mystic River. We have a wonderful intern, Emma, who is going into the schools to engage with the students directly.
Some of the students have, when I ask them if they've ever been to the Mystic, they mention really different things, which I think is reflective of what the watershed is like. So some of them, their first reaction is gross. And others, their first reaction is, oh, that's where I swim in the summertime. So I think that's important for us to keep in mind when we are trying to communicate to students, is that they have really different experiences with the watershed. The students have usually never seen these fish. They don't usually know that they migrate in these waters. Some of them are aware of the predators of these fish, so they've eaten tuna or they've eaten bass, but the river herring are usually unseen in their sort of imaginations.
They're important for our ecosystems, both in freshwater, estuaries, true marine ecosystems. They're getting eaten by everything from raccoons to bluefin tuna. So the birds, the mammals, all the fish, turtles. Yeah, you see snapping turtles eating these all the time. River herring are probably somewhere in the 70 to 85%, 65 to 85% of them come back to where they were born. I always say with river herring that it's not about intelligence, it's about persistence. They are just very, very persistent animals, and it's very great to watch. So they'll really go over a lot of hurdles, these little silverfish. And it's a great struggle to watch, and it's really, for me, there's a lot of admiration for them.
In 2017, 630,000 fish were counted passing through the ladder. The Watershed Association expects an additional 70,000 fish to make the trek this year. If you'd like to join the online count, visit mysticherring.org. To volunteer in person in the herring count or to find out about upcoming projects, visit mysticriver.org. Here's a look at other events coming up around town.
Bring the family to Fox Library on Saturday, June 9th or Wednesday, June 13th, where they can make their own mask or puppet. Kids can then share their creations as part of the Fox Festival Parade during the Feast of the East in Capitol Square on Saturday, June 16th. The parade celebrates the library and the many animals that live in Arlington. The workshops are free and pizza will be served at the Wednesday event. For more information, visit arlingtonpublicart.org. And Capitol Square celebrates the 20th Annual Feast of the East on June 16th. In addition to the Fox Festival Parade, you'll find food from Arlington's favorite restaurants and food trucks, live music, free activities for all ages, and lots of surprises from area shopkeepers. Interested residents are invited to spend a few hours in Whittemore Park on the evening of Wednesday, June 13th. Learn more about proposed changes to the area and share your ideas about improving the park. Visit arlingtonma.gov/planning for more information.
Thank you for joining Arlington Public News as we explore events and issues affecting Arlington. Check out extended interviews and our latest segments on the web at news.acmi.tv.
And don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at Arlington Public.
Congratulations to the Arlington High School class of 2018. We close our show tonight with the sights and sounds of graduation. I'm Jackie Bonette.
And I'm James Milan. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
I present to you the graduates of Arlington High School's class of 2018.
Right to the left and throw your caps. Congratulations, class of 2018.